Good morning, members of the public and members of the media. This week marks our second week in addressing and giving a substantive update on our campaign and addressing matters that may arise over the course of that period. We will start with the opening remarks by the PLP's candidate for Yamacraw, Zane Lyburn, which will be followed by the PLP's candidate for St. James, Owen Wells, and following those remarks, we'll have comments from the PLP's legal team, Attorney Keenan Johnson, and I will give closing remarks. So we'll begin the press conference in that order.
Good afternoon, all, and members of the media. Our message across this country is straightforward. We have a plan. We are bringing that plan to you. We are putting it before the country in black and white. We are saying to Bahamians, judge us by what we have done, judge us by what we are building, and judge us by what we are offering next. This is what the blueprint for progress is about. It is a governing plan for the next chapter of our country. This election comes down to a simple question. Which party has a serious plan to expand opportunity, ease pressures on families, strengthen safety and sovereignty, and improve health care for every Bahamian? The PLP has answered that question with substance. The blueprint for progress lays out where we are taking this country and how we intend to get there. On opportunity, we are offering a plan that begins with people. We are offering universal early childhood education from age 4. We are offering the continuation and the expansion of the school breakfast program, including every junior high school student, reaching more than 7,000 additional students. We are offering AI literacy, coding, mathematics, and language training for every student in every government school. We are offering the Bahamas AI Academy through BTVI and the University of the Bahamas. We are offering more apprenticeships, more certifications, and a stronger route from training to work. Upskill Bahamas will expand to 200 courses and certifications with a target of at least 25,000 Bahamians trained by 2030 or by 2031. This is what it means to prepare a country for the future. On jobs and income, we are offering a plan that puts Bahamians first. We increased the minimum wage by 24%. We signed more than 60 industrial agreements. Unemployment fell below 10%. We approved more than $15 billion in investments across our islands. Now we are going further. We are offering stronger notice of vacancy enforcement, a national workforce demand index, a Bahamian professional development program, and clear requirements for major projects receiving concessions to submit Bahamian employment and professional development plans. That means jobs, skills transfer, and real pathways for Bahamians to move up. On ownership, we are offering Bahamians a bigger stake in the economy. The Small Business Development Center has invested more than $92 million in training, support, and financing for 2,400 Bahamian entrepreneurs across 16 islands. We are offering faster startup business licenses. We are offering a simpler digital path to Might Gateway so Bahamians can register a company, obtain a business license, register with NIB, and receive a tax ID through one application. We are offering stronger support for agriculture, tourism, the orange economy, and family island enterprise. We are offering a bigger push for more home ownership through a continuous pipeline of affordable homes, expanded rent-to-own, and broader support for essential workers and young families. On affordability, we are offering relief and reform together. We cut VAT from 12% to 10%. We removed VAT from unprepared foods sold in our grocery stores. We placed 38 essential items under price control. We reduced VAT on many baby products, and we introduced the equity rate adjustment, which brings relief on the first 200 kilowatt hours for tens of thousands of households. Now we are offering more: stronger competition law, a price comparison app, anti-gouging action, smart meters nationwide, time off use tariffs, and the completion of 23 microgrid and solar projects in this term. That is how you bring bills down over time and give families a fairer break. On safety and sovereignty, we are offering firmness and follow-through. Homicides are down by 31%. Armed robberies are down by 39%. Major crimes are down 15% overall. We recruited 787 new police officers, 570 new Defense Force Marines, and 379 new correctional officers. We repatriated more than 13,000 immigrants. Now we are offering the next phase: a backlog reduction court, a sexual offenses court, biometric e-gates, stronger employer penalties, an immigration fraud intelligence unit, and deeper community justice interventions. On healthcare, we are offering a stronger system for the entire country. That includes the new hospital project in New Providence, the Freeport Health Campus, clinic repairs and upgrades across the country, 5 new clinics, the Catastrophic Care Fund, expanded prescription drug access, and broader move towards prevention and wellness. The next step includes a 10-year national health strategy, expanded telemedicine, stronger mental health and suicide prevention services, and health insurance coverage for all public servants, including contract workers. This is what a plan looks like. This is where the contrast matters. I repeat, this is where the contrast matters. The F&M manifesto leaves out far too much. On workers, it barely addresses labor rights and offers nothing close to the scale of reform the PLP has already delivered and is now proposing. On energy, it offers general language where Bahamians need targets, projects, and timelines. On technology, it misses the urgency of AI, digital government, and the jobs of the future. On housing, it throws out a number without laying out the route. In healthcare, it gives a headline where the country needs a full system plan. The PLP is offering substance. The PLP is offering detail. The PLP is offering a plan for government. We are bringing that plan to the Bahamian people because this election is about our future, and the future requires more than talk. It requires direction. It requires seriousness. It requires work. That is what the Blueprint for Progress represents. I thank you.
I will now have comments from Attorney Owen Wells, candidate for St. James.
Thank you, Zane. Zane has set out the broad case for the Blueprint for Progress. I want to build upon that by making the contrast even clearer. The PLP has brought a plan to the Bahamian people. The other side has brought a manifesto that is thin where Bahamians need depth, vague where families need clarity, and silent where workers and young people need a serious answer. That is the contrast in this election. The PLP has put forth substance. The F&M has left large gaps. Let us start with workers. The Bahamian workers should matter in any government document, yet the F&M manifesto barely deals with labor. There is no serious program for modern worker protection. There is no answer on the full set of reforms working people need in a modern economy. By contrast, the PLP has already raised the minimum wage by 24% and signed more than 60 industrial agreements. The PLP's program speaks to stronger labor protection, better conditions, and a government that values the dignity of all workers. That is substance. Let's take energy, for instance. Bahamians want relief on their light bills, better reliability, and a country less exposed to fuel shocks. The F&M offers broad language about support for upgrades. The F&M offers a national energy plan, the completion of 23 microgrids and solar projects, smart meters nationwide, time of use tariffs, a unified national energy strategy, continued work to reduce fuel exposure and bring better service throughout this archipelago. One-sided gestures, the other side governs. Let's take education and the future. The world is changing fast. Any serious party has to tell parents how their children will be prepared for the future economy. The F&M misses this test. The PLP answers it directly. AI literacy, coding, mathematics and language training in every government school. Expanded apprenticeships, a Bahamas AI Academy, upskill Bahamas growing to 200 courses and certifications for 25,000 Bahamians trained by the year 2031. That's a future-facing plan for a future-facing country. Let's take housing and ownership. The F&M gives a large headline number. Bahamians deserve more than just a mere headline. The PLP is laying out the route, a continuous pipeline of affordable homes, expanded rent-to-own, stronger rental supply, and a social housing acquisition program to bring distressed and abandoned properties back for use for families who need them. This is how you turn aspiration into delivery. Let's move to healthcare. Healthcare cannot be handled like a campaign leaflet. Families need to know what facilities are being built, how care will be improved, where staffing will come from, and how access will expand across the islands. The PLP has already moved on the new hospital project in New Providence, the Freeport Health Campus, new clinic upgrades, the Catastrophic Care Fund, and the expanded prescription coverage. The next phase includes telemedicine, stronger mental health services, a 10-year health strategy, and wider insurance coverage for public servants. That is the difference between a headline and a health system plan. Let's move on and take safety and sovereignty. The PLP has a record of results. Crime is down. Officers were recruited. Borders were strengthened. Migrant repatriations have increased. The plan ahead includes biometric immigration tools, stronger penalties, a backlog reduction court, and community justice centers. The Bahamian people can see the line from policy to action. And take affordability. Families need more room to breathe. The PLP has already cut VAT, reduced the burden on groceries, food, acted on electricity, and placed essential goods under price control. The next steps include stronger competition law, direct price transparency, anti-gouging actions, and deeper energy reform. This is how you build a country where growth reaches the kitchen table. Though this is a choice before the country, the F&M manifesto misses the level of detail Bahamians deserve. It misses the depth required for serious government. It misses the kind of plan that working people, young people, business owners, and families can hold in their hands and say, yes, this speaks to my life. The PLP has brought that plan. We are bringing Bahamians a real program to expand opportunities to learn, to earn, and to own. We are bringing relief on the cost of living. We are bringing stronger safety and sovereignty. We are bringing a better health care future. We are bringing detail. We are bringing direction. We are bringing a plan for government. This is why we say to the country, choose substance over slogans. Choose a team with a record. Choose a party with a plan, and choose progress. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think Owen I want to just state for the record, early in the initial comments, I think when he was describing that energy policy, comprehensive energy policy, is referring to the PLP, not the FNB. We didn't want to stop him in his remarks. What both the candidate for Yamacraw and St. James has just done is laid out the strong contrast between the manifesto being offered to the country from the Free National Movement and the one being offered by the Progressive Civil Party. We now go to our legal team where we can get an update on some upcoming electoral matters.
Thank you, Latre. Good afternoon, everyone. Last week, you would recall in our week one update that we spoke about overseas voting and advance poll voting. And so we just want to continue on with that to start off. And so you can appreciate now that, as we indicated last week, April 17th was the deadline for overseas voting, which means that no one can now apply anymore to vote overseas. And so if the intention is to vote in the upcoming election, which we encourage everyone to do so, then you will have to vote in country, either on advance poll day, which is April 25th, or on the actual election day, advance poll day, which is April 30th, or on the election day, which is May 12th. And so I just wanted to speak a little bit more in detail about the advance poll day, and the deadline to apply for advance poll day is April 25th. And so that is coming up. That is this Saturday, which is a deadline to make application. So I think it's worth discussing those persons who are eligible to apply to vote in the advance poll. And those persons are members of the armed force, election agents of the various political parties, those who, for some reason on election day, will be hospitalized or in a nursing home or in a home for the aged or any similar institution for the purpose of any sort of treatment of any illness or disability. Those persons who, for some reason, may not be able to travel to the election poll on election day, whether that's for a purpose of illness or pregnancy or something related to a recent childbirth. Persons who will be overseas on election day, persons with disabilities, and persons age 65 and older. So those persons are eligible to apply for the advance polls, which is the deadline is April 25th. The advance poll day is April 3rd. So we encourage all those persons who are eligible to apply, and you can apply using Form K. And there are three main ways that you can apply. The first one, which we encourage persons to do, is to go on My Gateway, and the application is right there, and you can do everything in My Gateway. The second, you can actually go into the various polling stations, the various registration centers, and I just want to list them off for the purposes of everyone. You have the Parliamentary Registration Department, the Elizabeth Estates Post Office, the South Beach Post Office, the Carmichael Road Post Office, and Cable Beach. And so you can go into any of those registration centers and apply in person to vote in the advance poll, which is on April 30th. The last is you can also apply via email. You can fill out the application Form K, and you can apply via email. The email address is advancepollparl, that's ADVANCEPOLLPARL @bahamas.gov.bs. And so, like I said, we encourage all of you who are eligible to apply to go out and do so and to vote in the advance polls. The next thing I want to mention is this matter that I believe caused some unnecessary confusion on nomination day related to persons and their eligibility to seek nomination or seek election based on government contracts. And so I think it's very important to make this extremely abundantly clear. There is no legal provision in the law or in the Constitution that prevents anyone who has a government contract or any interest in a government contract from seeking to be nominated in the election or seeking to be elected into the House of Assembly. There's absolutely no provision. So I just want to make that extremely clear. What the Constitution does provide is that you have to disclose any interest that you have in contracts. And that disclosure must be done via notice in a gazette. So I want to make that clear. There's only a requirement for a disclosure of interest in any government contracts. It's also important to know because there's also created some confusion as to when that disclosure is to take place. For some reason, there's this belief that it has to take place a month before the election. And so I think it's actually probably prudent for me to read exactly what the Constitution says, for the purpose of clarity. Article 48 speaks to disqualifications for elections as members of the House of Assembly. And it says, and this is Article 48J, no person shall be qualified to be elected as a member of the House of Assembly who is interested in any government contract or has disclosed the nature of such contract and of his interest therein by publishing a notice in the Gazette within 1 month before the day of the election. And so there's some confusion because everyone talking about this is missing out the within part. The law or the Constitution says that you have to disclose via notice in a Gazette within 1 month preceding the election, which means you look at when the election is and you count back 1 month. And it's in that time frame that you have to disclose via notice in a Gazette. Election day, and just to break it down further, election day is on May 12th. That means the actual time for this disclosure would be between April 12th and May 11th. So we can emphatically state that all of our candidates have disclosed any interest in government contracts to the Parliamentary Registry Department already. And we anticipate that in short order, all of those disclosures will be published via Gazette and in the various dailies. And so we just really want to make sure that we avoid any confusion related to any of those matters, because we want everyone to be understanding. The Parliamentary Registry Department did issue a press release advising that that the particular candidate in question did go through they were satisfied that he went through the process. But I also want to make it clear too that this, in terms of persons seeking nomination and having government contracts or interest in government contracts, that's not an uncommon thing. That is actually very popular on both sides of the political divide. This is not the first time that it's happened, and this is actually not specific to any candidate. There are multiple persons in multiple elections that have had this, and this is a very, very, very common exercise.
Thanks so much, Keenan, for that comprehensive overview heading into advanced poll voting, and especially bringing clarity to the laws that pertains to nomination and disclosure. There were two issues, I think, that was in the paper this week, carried by the Nassau Guardian, that we want the campaign would like to bring some context to. The first is Beaches and Parks Authority. I think it's important to note that I don't think that there is a single Bahamian who would disagree with any government providing and subsidizing small and medium-sized contractors. But it's also important to note that the issue of cost overruns in the beaches and park is not something that is new. For the past several years, from the previous F&M administration, in their first year in office, they had budgeted about $7 million for beaches and park, and ended up spending $15.6 million. That budget significantly increased in 2019 to 2021, where they budgeted $19.1 million and spent $25.9 million. Heading into the general election, 10 weeks before the general elections, the F&M had budget, I believe, $28 million and spent around, they budgeted $21 billion, and no, they had budgeted $15 million and spent $28.9 million. And so now I offer that context because I want the public to know that when you hear commentary from the Free National Movement, it's a bit disingenuous. I think the real issue here is that and what the PLP has spoken to in the Blueprint for Progress is that the need to bring state-owned enterprises into line. A part of our Blueprint for Change is to ensure that all state-owned enterprises produce a business plan that result in reduced subsidies by the government, and also result in the decrease in spending on their part. The F&M response when they was asked why there was significant cost overruns with beaches and park, well, they said that they were investing in small, medium-sized businesses. And the position of the government today is that we have continued that practice, ensuring that we stimulate the economy, ensure that those vendors get it. Also, I want to allude, what is the difference in the leadership between this government and the previous administration, is that the current executive chair of Bahamas Beaches and Park has undergone audits. I think he's probably the first chairman to do audits into the authority, and I think that's something that the government is proud of. Secondly, on the issue of travel, the position of the government of the Bahamas, and I guess the rest of the party in this instance, is that for the last 5 years we've said that when the PLP was elected, it suffered three crises. We're coming out of Dorian, we're coming out of the pandemic, and we're having a healthcare crisis. And the focus of the government was to ensure that the image of the Bahamas was restored on the global stage. We are satisfied that 5 years later, with record investments in our country, with new relationships, more diplomatic relationships, new investment partners like African Exim Bank, which have invested in Grand Bahama, which has really recapitalized the Bahamas Development Bank. The Bahamas Development Bank went years without funding, and now because of the relationship with the African Exim Bank, they have now $30 million in new capital injection to help small and medium-sized businesses. The investment in Grand Bahama over the last year has totaled over $1.5 billion. And also, I think it's important to add to the context, I think sometimes if the F&M is allowed, they would try to confuse the total travel spend to that of the Prime Minister. That travel spend reflects the entire government of the Bahamas. That's cabinet ministers, that is senior technocrats, that is junior staff. Also, that travel also reflected domestic travel. We don't separate domestic travel and international travel. We total it all together. And we are proud to say, because of the increase of infrastructure development across our family islands, building multiple airports and multiple road constructions and multiple ports, we're seeing a significant increase in our domestic travel. And because that really reflects a government at work. So I hope for this purpose that we've brought clarity that, one, the issue of cost overruns at Beaches and Park has been something that has been continuous for the last several years. It is the intent of the Progressive Liberal Party, through its blueprint for progress, to address the reduction of the spending by state-owned enterprises. And secondly, that the government of the Progressive Liberal Party has seen the return of investment on the travel through record investments, through record tourism numbers. And secondly, the issue of travel is divided between domestic travel and international travel, and reflects all of the government officials, technocrats, junior staff, teachers, nurses, custom officers, defense force officers. I could go on, but all of that is what it costs to run an archipelago. That's what it costs to have multiple investment forums around the world. We've had investment forums in New York, investment forums in DC, investment forums in West Palm Beach. And so I think that, and we welcome the scrutiny, and we welcome being asked by the voting population and the Bahamians at large as to what the government is doing in their name and what the government is spending in their name. We now open the floor to any questions from the members of the media.
Mr. Raming, earlier today, the U.S. Embassy issued a statement raising concern about the funding in regards to the new hospital. What is the government's response to the U.S. concerns?
I think the Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued a statement this morning, and it reads, the government of the Bahamas has taken note of the comments issued in the amount that what amounts to an unusual intervention by the United States government in the public affairs of the Bahamas. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is tasked with seeking an urgent clarification of the statement. The record will show that there are no unresolved or unaddressed matters connected to this agreement. All associated documents have been tabled in the Parliament of the Bahamas. The government of the Bahamas is deeply appreciative of the concerns expressed for the upgrade of our healthcare facilities by the United States authorities. These facilities will protect the millions of Americans who visit our shores, in addition to our own citizens. We would be happy to share the record with those responsible U.S. authorities in the appropriate forum. before reaching a funding agreement with the government of the People's Republic of China. The government of the Bahamas engaged with the United States government on several occasions over the period of 3 years. Those efforts yield no financing response that match the urgency, scale, certainty required to move this project forward. Faced with the pressing need to strengthen and modernize the public healthcare system, the government took the decision to proceed in the best interest of the Bahamian people. Any suggestion that the government act with undue haste is misplaced. The project was delayed while the Bahamas awaited a response, and to accept an offer at this stage would only produce further delay, something our national interest can ill afford. The fact that the equipment list was supplied by the United States vendors on the usual commercial and transparent terms. We acknowledge the renewed interest by the government of the United States. Even so, the matter is resolved. The government of the Bahamas will protect the sovereignty and national interests of our people at every stage of this project. The Bahamas is a sovereign country and is fully capable of advancing and safeguarding those interests while acting in the public interest. In the meantime, the public should be assured that this transaction is a straightforward and transparent commercial arrangement, free of unethic or any prejudice. I just wanted to read the statement by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, just for the public record, that the ministry addressed the matter this morning.
My question is for Mr. Johnson. You noted in your comments in terms of the relevant information being gazetted within the time period. When can the public anticipate that information to be gazetted?
So that is something that the Parliamentary Registry Department, I assume, is working on now. I imagine it'll be before the election, but I imagine that now that they have all the information that they would have received from nomination, that would be the declarations, and it would also be the disclosures as it relates to the government contracts or any interest thereof. And so all that information, I assume, within the next week or two should be gazetted in the papers for everyone to be able to see and to review.
This is for Mr. Raman. Would you be able to discuss the government's budget for this campaign season?
The government's budget, or there's two things. I mean, the PLP's budget.
Yes.
That hasn't been disclosed with me. I think I don't know what the PLP intends to spend on this in this budget cycle, and if there's a number, it surely wasn't shared with me or anyone on this stage. With that being said, I think that brings us to a close of our weekly press conference. This is an effort to show that the Progressive Civil Party intends to communicate with the members of the media and the general public on a week-to-week basis, and that the PLP has nothing to hide, and we are extremely accountable. There is some important updates. We want you to know that the Progressive Civil Party will be holding a Central West rally tomorrow at 8 p.m. at the Bahamas Beach Soccer Stadium. That's near the PI Bridge, and we expect that the candidates from that area will be present. We encourage the public to visit the PLP's website, yourplp.org, to see the PLP's blueprint for progress and to really see what both our candidates for Yamacraw and St. James are saying, that the comparisons is night and day or the platforms. We thank the general public for viewing today's presser, and we also thank the members of the media for covering it. Thank you so much.